everyone. Welcome to another Game Ball podcast stream. I'm your host, Mark, and we're here for the news hour, August 18th, if you are listening on podcast services or YouTube. We're about halfway through August here, getting set for Labor Day. This will be a short one. Just because there's not much news. I was even contemplating not doing one because there's only like 3 or 4 stories out there. And sorry, I'm wrestling with Game Ball Cat right now. And the so I just want to keep my streak alive, mainly why I'm here. So we'll get started. But like I said, it's going to be real quick. So I'll just get some housekeeping out of the way first. We'll be back tonight with Mega Man. Mega Man 2, we should finish it tonight. And the Mega Man 1 video should be up as well by the time you're listening to this as well. So you guys can watch that. So we should be done that tomorrow. Then Thursday, we're going to have our WWE Fantasy Draft thing that we do for our Fantasy Football League, which you can come watch. Feel free, but it's mainly for us. They won't be going on YouTube or anything. But we'll be there live, and you guys can chat with us and, have some fun while we watch the computer wrestle each other on there. That's Thursday, and then it should be Final Fantasy VI after that, I believe. We had some... I had forgotten what date Thursday was. So when we did Final Fantasy VI on Friday, I had said we would do that on Friday, but I'd forgotten that was draft and Final Fantasy night. So we'll be doing that on Thursday, unless if Tom is unable to. Friday we'll get back into Vaulty, starting out his first game at Penn State. We are currently on the bench. I think we're the third string quarterback, so Friday Night Lights will come back. And then Saturday, we will get into Trails in the Sky again and be playing that on Saturday and Sunday. So I think that's it. I think in the next couple weeks we have an Extra Life stuff to announce. So that's coming up in November. Going to be our 10th anniversary, so be on the lookout for that. But yeah, I think that's it. It's leading to what I've been playing. Hello, Night Duck. Mainly, I've been playing Death Stranding 2. I finished it this weekend. We did 9.5 hours on Saturday. We finished at about 2 in the morning. Me and Goat were there for the ending. My overall opinions on it. It is better than Death Stranding 1. I will give it that. The story, it's... How to say this? I haven't had time to sit down and write out my thoughts, so this is all coming off the dome as I sit here. The story, while good, I like the theme more. I think that's what I'm trying to say. The theme of, coming over grief and loss and how you deal with that and things you do to sort of, get through that is very strong and very well done when they focus the story on that stuff. When he gets into the crazy bullshit, that's where it becomes crazy bullshit. And there's scenes in this game that I don't think need to be there, but for some reason he felt needed to be there. So there's a specific scene in the final couple chapters that is completely ridiculous. I'm going to be doing a spoiler cast about this sometime in September. So be on the lookout for that. I'll talk about it then. That'll probably be like a half-hour thing, because I think it'll just be me. So Die Hard, man. That is all. Yeah, that whole, without getting too deep into spoilery, yeah. The main thing in the story was exactly what I thought it would be, and I was glad, because I was about to say they left the door open for it not to be that. And I said on stream, I was like, I can deal with a lot of Kojima bullshit, but if he makes this even more bullshitty than just going for the obvious thing, I would be mad. So I don't have the chat up. I'm just gonna read you. Night Duck said, "Die Hard Man makes soft times. Soft times make soft hard man, etc., etc." God, the I was watching the Resident Arc people do their spoiler cast on this finally, because I did want to avoid spoilers, for obvious reasons. And they the one guy, I think it was Kaysen. I'm pretty sure it was Kaysen. Oh, Die Soft Man. Um, the he goes, yeah, and then there's that one guy that sort of dies for 3 minutes and then comes back. You know, he has the thing. What's his name? And the other guy goes, Heartman, and then they just start laughing because it is the most like in your face, ridiculous. Like, there's no way of not knowing what this character does. There's literally a character named Rainy that brings rain. Like, that's kind of where you're at with Kojima names. But yeah, the game kind of sticks the landing, not 100%. There's still some crazy shit that I am still kind of confused about. But for the most part, they get there. They hit on the, like I said, the main theme about grief and all that, and overcoming that part, and then you know, at the ending, and you know, picking yourself up after things like that and all. But they hit that. There's some of the overall story that doesn't really hit. It's kind of weird. He gets a little too preachy, which is saying something for Kojima. But overall, I enjoyed the game. Not game of the year. Obviously, Expedition 33 is sitting on a mountaintop right now. Since I do not have a Switch 2, I cannot play Donkey Kong, which seems to be the only thing that might be knocking it off. You know, I've heard some people say Split Fiction. I haven't played that yet. You know, KCD 2, I've seen elsewhere. Yeah, and yeah. So, and then when we do Podcast Prime, Metal Militia has a Switch 2, and he'll be our Switch 2 correspondent on those podcasts. So he'll give you the updates. He may have Donkey Kong higher on his list. So yeah, the game overall definitely top 3 from what I played this year. And again, there's that rush between October and December where I play a lot of the stuff, that smaller games that I should have played, you know, and all that. Yeah, and that was Night Rain was the other one. That was the one I couldn't think of. Night Rain. And then they were trying to find a 5th one. And you know, they were saying like Ghost of Yotai or something. Nobody mentioned Kazan from the things I've been hearing. But yeah, Night Rain was 4th one. Yeah. Yeah, I'm probably not going to play Night Rain. But as I always said, on Game Vault Pod here, our list at the end of the year is our top 10 favorite games of the year. I never want to make an objective best of list because we don't play enough games. We could probably come up with sort of a best of between the 4 of us, including Jonathan. Because between the 4 of us, we play enough spread across. But I don't think the arguments are worth it. But yeah, so, you know, I'm still waiting for, I mean, I can't foresee anything, unless if there's a small game, like if Mina comes out this year and is ridiculously good, that's the Zelda-like indie game, and just knocks my socks off, kind of like Blatro did last year, when I finally played it. Yeah, exactly. I agree. Night Duck says anyone who says their rating is objective is objectively wrong. But I like to be transparent and saying, hey, these are just our favorites. I'm not, you know, giving a review here of the game, you know. So there's going to be stuff in my top 5 that people won't have in their top 10s. Yeah, we like to be very upfront about that. So, but Death Stranding 2, well worth the playthrough. I love playing through it. I think Goat was there for just about everything. And I'm probably going to go back and finish building the roads and the monorails and stuff just to be a completionist. But yeah, overall, I would say I think the best performance in the game is Troy Baker. Higgs is really good villain. And it's because he rides that line of being, you can kind of see where he thinks he's the hero. In moments, I think he's objectively, using the word objectively again, I think he really knows he's evil and wants evil things, but there's a part of him going, no, I'm doing this because it's, now that much makes a good villain. It's not, it's a little more well-rounded than most Kojima villains. Not a whole lot, but, yeah, I believe, and this goes back to, I think I mentioned this right up front, the difference in the performances between Elle Fanning's pretty good as Tomorrow. She doesn't have much to do, but what they give her, she does really, really well with. It is amazing, and this got even worse later, and not worse in a bad way, but worse, in that the difference between Léa Seydoux and Troy Baker, in how Troy Baker 100% got the assignment. He knew it was silly. He knew it was insane. He knew that it's nonsense. Léa Seydoux played it straight, as though everything was normal, and didn't like fully immerse herself into the insanity of the game. The comparison of those two, and I only use those two and not the actors that played Neil and Lucy, who could be, I think if I have to watch their scenes again, they may be the best performances in the game. But the reason I compare Troy and Léa is essentially because they were both in the first game. So they both know what was, them and Norman knew what was happening, knew what Kojima was doing, knew what he wanted, and she still played it way too normal. And he went, yes, I'm gonna go to 11, and if he pulls me down to 10, then that's fine. But I don't think he ever did that. And yeah, I think the most grounded performances is Neil and Lucy in this, from what the little bit they give us. But overall performance and getting the character, getting the game, getting everything, Troy Baker, he's 100% going to be nominated at the Game Awards for this. He may win. It's really, really good. But yeah, so that was Death Stranding 2. Excited I played it. I'm excited to dive into more traditional RPGs, because this is technically an RPG. You level up and stuff. And you get this build a skill tree in this one. With Trails and Fantasian coming on the docket next. So we'll be getting through that. And like I said, we'll probably play Delta. College football, update on that outside of the thing we played on stream, which I talked about last week. I played a little bit on my own, and I am currently with my fourth team. I think it's my fourth team, right? Yeah, fourth team. And I am the head coach at Tulane. Roll Wave. And we are in the college football playoff against Notre Dame right now, so it's going good. As I report every time with you, game's still fun. I love the run blocking. It's so much more intuitive. And I feel like certain plays that I couldn't figure out how to do in 15 because the blocking wasn't as good, I can sort of see the hole, as a running back, see the opening. And when I see it and I hit it, he goes through, and there isn't a surprise tackler jumping 3 feet to the right and grabbing my guy all of a sudden. So that's been great. I'm getting better at the passing. I'm starting to be able to hit posts and deep routes and stuff as I'm getting the pressure-sensitive stuff finally down. Probably getting better quarterbacks as I go up in rankings is probably helping too. But yeah, still chugging along with that game. Game's amazing. Yeah, that's about all I've been playing. I really want to do some more Mister stuff this weekend, but then I forgot for TC Tam that I have to watch 3 movies this week. Well, 2 movies this week, and one that I chose to watch because for our Patreon over at patreon.com/TCTamPod, we spun a wheel for backlog movies, and I believe Dan got Princess Mononoke, so I had to watch Princess Mononoke again. So instead of 2 movies for this week, I watched 3, and I don't have a whole lot of time this week, as I mentioned at the beginning. So I didn't get a chance to play much else this week. So, yeah, Heat's 3 hours. That was one thing I wanted to... I kept quiet about. That's the one thing I remember about Heat. On the negative side. I remember all the positive shit in that movie. That's the one negative side of it. Like, I had forgotten Mononoke is over 2. It's like 2:15 or something. But, yeah. Yeah, so I watched that just before stream tonight. But, yeah, so that's what I've been playing. We're going to have whole new things to talk about next week. Now that we don't have any more Death Stranding. Yeah, let's move on to the news. And first off, we have... Ooh, it didn't flip over. There we go. There we go. First off, we have Jeff Keighley and Opening Night Live over at Gamescom in Germany. Jeff Keighley has confirmed the 7 games that will be shown at Opening Night Live on Tuesday. And the games listed here below. I'm going to finish reading the article, but there's more than 7 here. But this is what we've known because other things have been announced by other people. But Call of Duty Black Ops 7, obviously. Resident Evil 9, Ghost of Yotai, Ninja Gaiden 4, The Outer Worlds 2, Silent Hill F, World of Warcraft Midnight, Black Myth Wukong, and I guess it's a DLC, Lords of Fallen 2, and I don't know if it'll be on the show, but it was confirmed that Hollow Knight Silksong will be playable at Gamescom. So that game is real. It's real. We don't know the Wukong. I'm thinking it's a DLC, but it could also be an Xbox reveal. I'm not sure on that. The other thing I'm really excited about, we're going to have to watch this later because it'll be 2 p.m. on Tuesday. But there's gonna be a Clair Obscur Expedition 33 music performance. So probably be watching this. Just because I'm going to talk about it we'll probably mention briefly if there's any good news from it on Podcast Prime on the 29th. And I'll definitely talk about it on NewsHour next week. But there's going to definitely be a surprise or two here. I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a Metroid Prime 4 thing around here. Yeah, so... we're not going to do a live or talk over or anything. And yeah, because I will not be home Tuesday night. I'll be watching this on my own at some point between now and the next NewsHour. So, next up, not surprising, Call of Duty Black Ops 7 reportedly will skip Nintendo Switch 2 launch. Sorry, Tom. Release date and price have leaked over at IGN. Call of Duty Black Ops 7 looks set to skip Nintendo Switch 2 at launch, despite parent company Microsoft binding 10-year agreement to bring Call of Duty to Nintendo platforms. In 2003, as part of its push to get Activision Blizzard acquisition cleared through the courts, Microsoft promised to release future Call of Duty games with full feature and content parity on Nintendo platforms on the same day as Xbox. Under the contract, Nintendo owners will be able to experience Call of Duty just as Xbox and PlayStation gamers enjoy Call of Duty, Microsoft said at the time. Call of Duty has not been available on Nintendo since 2013's Call of Duty Ghosts. Jesus! What a terrible game to go out on for Wii U. And the leak is that Black Ops is scheduled for November 14th on PC, Xbox, PlayStation, all that. It might eventually come to Switch too, but as it stands, it won't make it alongside Xbox. So, if those of you were looking for a way to play Call of Duty and do things without 100% supporting Microsoft, and you had to switch to, well, can't do that. And as Night Duck said, wow, who could have foreseen the thing every company does after every merger ever? Exactly. I would have been more shocked if they would have gotten it out full featured on Switch 2 at launch. No. My kind of prediction would be, because of this binding agreement, I don't know if they can do anything about it, but if this binding agreement makes them have to do it, they could do some kind of excuse with Nintendo saying, hey, we didn't expect the Switch 2 thing to be what it is, we have to blah, 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 blah. And I think every release after this will come out day and date. Because that's the only way they can get away with it, is say it's a one-time glitch because of new hardware. So, yeah. Next up, Chibi Robo is the next classic game coming to Nintendo Switch Online's GameCube library. Chibi Robo is the next, over at IGN, Chibi Robo is the next GameCube classic coming to Nintendo Switch 2's Nintendo Switch Online library, and it arrives as soon as next week. So it will be out on Thursday? Yeah, Thursday. August 21st. We already knew the Cube platformer was coming at some point thanks to Nintendo's handy summary on Nintendo eShop, but now Nintendo has revealed when, and it's August 21st. It'll be the second game added to the library since Switch 2 launched in June. The other being Super Mario Strikers or Mario Smash Football, as it was known in Europe. The GameCube catalog currently includes games like Wind Waker, son of a bitch, F-Zero GX, Soul Calibur 2, and Super Mario Strikers. Further titles thought to be joining the service include Super Mario Sunshine, Luigi's Mansion, Pokemon XD, Gale of Darkness, and more. Don't forget, an extremely cool replica of the GameCube catalog is still available. Following up on the previous story, as Night Duck says, if only there was a government agency that enforced laws against corporations. It's got... Oh, boy. To be honest, the only thing that's missing between, besides looking better, the original and the HD, is that the final sailing parts in the end of the game are less time consuming in the new one. But yeah, it's literally the last game on Wii U that has not come to Switch. Like, probably not literally. There's probably like a Barbie game or something that hasn't come over, but or some kids game. But the sailing is in real time in the old version. Yeah, it makes sense. So yeah. But I'm glad to see that they are adding to the GameCube catalog. It does have a really, really good catalog, and there's a generation of gamers that was their first one, and they are the ones you need. Just like 64, that's how you get them to get the higher end Switch Online. Because us old heads can. We either already have our Misters or things like that, or we're paying the cheap online to just play our games. But yeah, so if you love Chibi Robo, it's coming to Nintendo Switch Online if you have a Switch too. Next up, again, another Phasmophobia story. You're welcome, Jen. Phasmophobia 2 is definitely not off the cards. Dev says original on track to finally exit early access in 2026. Phasmophobia maker Kinetic Games has revealed it wouldn't write off a sequel to the viral hit ghost hunting game, but is keen to keep working on the current version until we're happy with it. In an interview with IGN, art director Corey J. Dixon suggested the 5-year-old game might finally exit early access next year alongside its well-publicized Horror 2.0 update, which is currently slated for 2026. We definitely have plans for 1.0, probably in line with our Horror 2.0 update. We feel the game is feature complete, Dixon said. It doesn't mean we'll stop working on it. We still want map reworks and new maps and stuff in the future, so there'll be more stuff for the game. But I think once the Horror 2.0 has been redone, which is the next thing we work on after the 2025 players update, the game will feel finished. Once that is in, I think it'll be in a good spot. As for Phasmophobia 2, I wouldn't write it off. It would be a fun challenge to see if we could do another one. There are a lot of things that I know we would change as a company if we went into Phas fresh. There are definitely things we would all probably say, oh, let's not do that, or that would be awesome, we should do that instead. So yeah, you never know. It's definitely not off the cards. Since it launched in early access in 2020, spawning an entirely new genre of ghost hunting games in its wake, it passed 23 million sales thanks to its blend of co-op horror and investigative gameplay. And apparently it made the IGN 25 best horror games ever made. I don't know. 2.0 will be 1.0. Got it. Okay. Hopefully this is just a list, because now I need to click this list. Okay. Evil Within, 23rd, yeah. I mean, Condemned, Manhunt. Inside, I'm getting a little nervous here. Visage. Okay. 18th. Okay. And Dead by Daylight, 17th. Okay. Alright, I don't need to go through the rest of the list here. It's definitely biased. It's not... Phasmophobia, I have a bit with Jen about it. But... I don't know. There has to be younger writers at IGN there, because Inside is infinitely a better game than Phasmophobia. Whether it should be much higher is debate. But anyway. Yeah, so looking forward to it. It's going to be coming out early access soon, but Phasmophobia 2 might be coming in the next couple years. So be on the lookout. Our final story, like I said, quick one tonight. PlayStation Plus's game catalog for August 2025 is confirmed. They might mean September? Or maybe it's just the end of the month? Okay. I don't know why they're making it sound like this was something that was put out at the beginning of the month. But anyway. PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium game catalog editions include Mortal Kombat 1, the one that just came out, not Mortal Kombat 1 from the 90s. Marvel Spider-Man, Sword of the Sea, Earth Defense Force 6, Unicorn Overlord, Altair Ryza, I think that's Ryza. 3, Alchemist of the End and the Secret Key, Indica, Harold Halibut, and Coral Island. And then for your PlayStation Plus game catalog editions, for your premium ones only, Resident Evil 2, these are the classic games. These are the remakes. Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. And I don't see anything for your essential subscribers here. Um, oh no, they are the originals. Why did it say PS? Okay, I guess. Okay, I didn't see the parentheses. My apologies. Um, but yeah, so those are the games coming to PlayStation Plus if you have that subscription. Um, yeah, there's still no reason. Part of the reason, and we're trying to not talk much about Microsoft and Xbox, on here is, you know, because of the BDS stuff. But the reason why Game Pass was always a good deal, which it's been less and less recently, is that when you subscribed to like a reasonable tier, before they did their tiers, you seem to get stuff. Like PlayStation, it just seems all over the place. And it's not day one. Day one is a big thing. PlayStation's gotten a lot better. I'll say that. I'm tempted to sometimes go to extra or premium, but I probably won't. There's even times where I'm thinking I should just drop essential because I don't really use any of the things outside of playing game. I don't even play games online. So, it's there's no real thing for it. The only reason why I had Game Pass, was because there's a lot of day one stuff. So I played Persona 3, essentially. Tony Hawk, I got to try out. Stuff like that. That's the main reason you have it. But yeah, the demo for Tony Hawk and all that is, and then other things. But yeah, PlayStation, and Nintendo is just for the classic games. They don't do anything, I don't think, to give you anything more than the classic games, and they charge almost just as much as the other ones, which is crazy. But yeah, I think that's where we'll end it. Thank you all for joining me. We'll be back tonight, probably beating Mega Man 2. That depends because my night tomorrow, after the normal craziness of Monday and work, is I have to watch Parasite, then play Mega Man, and then record TC Tam. So right after I get done Parasite, I am going to start Mega Man. Like, not right after. It's probably like a half hour later. I'm thinking like 8:30, we'll start. Or 9. But either way, I should get at least, we'll see where we are. I might want to try and start at like 8:30, 8:45 because it may take an hour. It may take slightly less. And, I don't want to just do a part 3 on Monday where we play just one boss. If that happens where I have to cut out for like the last Wily stage or something, we will just, we'll start Mega Man 3 on the 25th. We'll just do that. So, thank you all for joining me. Thank you, Meta Militia. Thank you, Night Duck. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And, we'll see you next time. Bye!